Hi FlossTube Stitchers. My vintage item for tonight's video is stitching adjacent because it's actually my earrings, but what connects it to stitching is that this is actually Lizzie Kate's sterling silver spider charm. And for a while she made them into earrings and sold them. And so I thought it was, kind of fun to have something that reminds me of one of my favorite designers of all time. And if you've stitched any of her Halloween things, you might have attached one of these to your piece. So that's my vintage story for tonight. Our new shop model is from Carol Leonard. And I actually did not practice this, so I don't know how the light's gonna reflect. Okay. Well, that's probably the best I can do. This was a 2021 SAL, and the original model was done on 20 count tin roof from Weeks Dye Works, but Carol stitches on Ada. So probably the closest color to the tin roof would have been raw, but she chose vintage country mocha and it turned out great. And some of the other people on my automatic chose not to do the 20 count and they used 30 count Parisian gray. But if you substitute fabric much higher than 28 or 30, the designer suggests that the embellishments might look a little heavy for the piece. They might not fit the space as nicely, so she suggests that you keep it to 28. So anyway, I don't have any of these charts right now. I'll have to order some very soon, so let me know if you're interested and I'll order more. I was gonna get one set to start with. Okay, then my stitching. I almost called this video monogamous stitching, but at the last minute I worked on a couple other things, so I couldn't call it that. Oh well. So for most of the week I worked on my Happy Halloween pumpkin party from Jardin Privé, and oh my god, I just loved it so much. I just didn't want to put it down. So let's see, I'm gonna put that there. This is what I got done, so quite a bit. And I'm working on 18 count peanut, which is actually a little more pumpkin-y looking. It looks kind of golden in the picture here, what I can see in my video, but it's actually a little more orangey pumpkin-y. But the colors look great on it. The oranges look a little different than they do on the front cover, but that's because it's computer generated, and I actually like the DMC colors that she suggested, so I'm using all of them. And I had gotten the fabric in 18 and 36 for no particular reason. I just like to mix it up a little bit. I may also have gotten it in a Lugana, I forgot to check. But the 18 and the 36 looked really similar in color, so I was having a hard time deciding which one to use. And Bonnie M was with me one day when I was talking about this project, and she said, oh, just use one strand. Just use one strand on the 18, go for it. I mean, I would have used one strand on the 36, but she's like, use the 18. And I go, I think I will. I don't think I have a model, at least of mine, that's done on 18. And I thought it was an unusual choice for her to suggest that because she, a couple of years ago, started only working on 36 and 40 count linens. But the 18 fits her need to only stitch with one strand. And so she's actually stitching on 18 count Ada too, especially the hand-dyed because they're so pretty. She has plans to stitch 2 Silver Creek sampler designs for her daughter, and Diane uses 18 count. And so that's kind of what gave her like the permission to try something like that. So she wants me to order some more 18 hand-dyed for her. And then I should have prefaced this story by saying that when I was making the decision, it was kind of like I had a little angel on one side and a devil on the other telling me opposite stories. Don't make me choose who was the angel and who was the devil. But on another day during the tour, when Emily S. was working with me and we were talking about this, she said, oh, I always use 2 strands on 18 count, and it looks great. It's not too, it's not too full. It's not, I'm trying to think of the right word, too heavy looking. And so I thought, well, I can just practice in the corner, just like I tell my customers, try with 1 strand, try with 2, see what you like, use maybe the darkest color to make sure you really like the coverage. Well, I didn't follow my own advice. I started with the darkest pumpkin, and I probably should have done the black because, maybe that would have told me right away if I liked the coverage of only 1 strand. But I liked it right away, so I just kept stitching with the 1 strand. So anyway, I'm very happy with it. And I probably could have, I didn't want to put it down. I really wanted to keep on going. But then I thought, no, you got to give some love to some of your other pieces. So I thought that, once or twice a week, I would work on another piece and then, just use like 1 strand, like 1 length of thread. And when you're done with that, put it away, and then you can go back to your your number 1 project that you love to work on. So that's what I did. So one night I put a little more stitching into Autumn Quaker, and I know other people finished this so quickly and got it up, and I thought, well, I'm still kind of stalling a little bit. Like, I don't want to finish it because I don't have the second, I haven't even ordered the silk yet, so I don't have the second skein in case I run out. So I thought, no, I'm just going to work on it a little at a time. And so I don't want to get to the point where I've used up all of this silk and then the next skein doesn't match. I'd rather have the skein first, which is why I'm leaving some parts unfinished, because I can go back and fill it in with the second skein. If it doesn't match, then it's more distributed around the design. So I don't want to finish this quickly, and I just wasn't ready yet to order the silk. So this is Autumn Breeze Belle Soie from Classic Colorworks, and I just didn't need a lot of other things at this time to place that order. So I am going to order multiple skeins of Autumn Breeze because I think it's a really pretty color, and if anyone else wants to do a similar 1 color design in it, that'll be great, because it's 12 ply instead of 6, so you get twice as much on the skein. It's really, silk isn't really as expensive as you think it is, because you get more yardage out of it. Then I decided to, just for one night, work on, this is the one I forgot to bring last week. I had already worked a little more on it, but this week I put the chevron stitching, I think that's what that's called, in the middle of the wings, and that's actually 2 different colors of burgundy, and it gets filled in with colonial copper, and I thought it would be easier to get this part done and then I just fill in the rest with 1 color. I think it was easier for me to follow the chart this way. So then I just have to finish the body and do the border, and it shouldn't take that long. So that's coming out nicely. All right, so that was my stitching. Then let's see, I'll show you, I only got 1 automatic this week, so next week I will probably have the hands-on design and the Primrose Cottage. I think that's what's coming next week. And so this is the automatic from With Thy Needle and Thread. The first one is the Light of Winter, and this was from a previous retreat. Right now I can't remember which one it was, but somebody, I saw somewhere on social media that people said this was a companion piece to Winter House Manor. Is that the correct name? So it could be the same size, the same stitch count. I didn't look at it. But I really love this one. I love the deer, and I love that the house is not monstrous. It's not as daunting, and I just think that border is so pretty. So I think I will do this one. I had held off doing the other one because I felt like everyone was buying it and everyone was doing it, and there was no reason for me to encourage more purchase because it was already popular. So I didn't jump on that bandwagon, but I think I will do this one because of the deer. All right, so that chart is 14, and this is Peppermint and Pine, also $14, and it's a little bit different for her. but you can still see her style, right? So I think that's really nice. A little fat cardinal. All right, and then we have reindeer games, and you get all 3 designs. And it's $18 because it also includes 3 of the ornament backs. And I read through her instructions, which are very detailed, as she always is, with helping you to finish it the same way she did. She doesn't give any credit for these, so I'm thinking maybe they were made for her. I'm not sure, but you get 3. I guess the question I would need to ask if somebody wants to do multiples and wants more than just the 3, do they have to buy another chart, or is there another source for this? So I may reach out and ask her that question. But anyway, I will probably have to do these because I have a reindeer tree, just a tabletop tree that I put reindeer ornaments on because we don't always put up a full-size tree. And these will go very nicely on that because a lot of my ornaments for that tree are on the bigger side. I have a couple different trees, but the one that I often put the reindeer on has bigger spaces between the levels, and so it can take a bigger ornament. So I'm excited about that chart. And then the last one is Snow Magical for $12, and this is one of her signature snowman shapes. So cute. And then the base piece is from 141 Design Company, and Chantel does sell wholesale to shops, various pieces that are used by designers, which is very decent of her. The only requirement is that we get a pack of 6. And let's see, it's called Freeze Frame Snow Globe Finishing Board. So I'll be getting those. So then we got the Atomic Ranch Fabric Automatic, came on Saturday. And after filling my automatic orders, this is what I have left, and I might have multiples of some of these counts, but these are the only counts I have. So I have it in order here: 14 Ada, 16 Ada, 32 Lugana, 32 Belfast, 36 Edinburgh, and 40 Newcastle. And isn't it interesting how the color just comes out slightly different on each count? Even between the 2 Adas, the 14 has so much green to it and the rest of them don't. Like the 14 and the 36 have the most green running through them. And then the Lugana is a little softer with not as much modeling. And then the 40 count is really a beautiful gray, and there's no green running in it. And on the dyer's website, this is Atomic Ranch, and on Rogue Stitchery's website, they have it described as a dark gray with brown and green modeling. Now, I wouldn't really call it a dark gray. I would call it more of a medium gray. And in none of these counts did I see any brown. So I imagine that's hard to predict from batch to batch. But I just thought the 40 count was so pretty, and they suggested that this color would be good for samplers. And to be honest, I didn't see that with the other counts. I thought the 40, I could see a lot of those pretty samplers with the pink colors. I thought they would look really pretty on this. I didn't see sampler right away when I looked at this color in the other counts, but the right colors would look great on it. I saw like a dreary wintry sky, or something for fall or even Halloween, but you do you, and you might have the perfect design for it. So reach out if you're interested in any of these. I do still also have the Atomic Ranch trunk show, and it's going really well. I have like another week or so before I would need to pack it up, and I have sent lots of pictures to people who were interested in seeing what I had left in different counts. So there is still a third of a table full. If you saw my picture on social media, the whole table was full, and now it's been depleted. But I do still have a lot of linen, and I have a lot of neutral colors that are not included in next year's automatic program. So you might be interested in something else. just let me know and I can send you pictures as well. Okay, the other trunk show that I had this time was My Big Toe accessories, and my plan was to show you a lot of the same thing, to show the different colors and the different beads that she uses. And you know what? It's too hard. It's too hard because they're little, and if I took them out of the plastic, then it works out better if I take the photo of them all laid out on a piece of fabric or on a colored mat board. So I may do that for social media, but I have until mid-November. So I've got time to take pictures if anyone wants to see something more specific. But I thought I would just show you maybe one of everything and explain a little bit about how you use the accessories if you're not familiar with them. So first is her lovely needle threaders, and there's never two alike. They're all so pretty. She uses very interesting beads. And the great thing about her needle threaders, because you know we've all had needle threaders that bent or broke, or the wire comes right out of the end, and a lot of times it's because they are inexpensive and they're mass produced. But these are handmade, and the wire goes all the way through the whole thing, so it's not going to come out. And that's it's not helpful to have a needle threader when the wire comes out, right? And I've sold the same customer like multiples of the same type of needle threader because she likes them, but they just don't last very long. So anyway, I like Deborah's needle threaders. All right, then she has what's called a thread picker, and this is to take out any mistakes that you might have run across. And of course you could use the needle by itself. I mean, you could use your own needle by itself, but the advantage of having it attached to something is that you won't lose it in your couch cushions, or you won't drop it on the floor and not be able to find it later. And it's just fun. It's fun to have matching colors to your project or your favorite color. Like I started collecting red and blue accessories when I first started getting her trunk shows, because I stitch in my family room and it's decorated kind of patriotic with a lot of burgundy and navy. So I started collecting things that looked good together. So anyway, that's a thread picker. And I matched it up to one of my needles. I think it's a 24. And I do like a 24 needle to pick out mistakes because it has a little more of a rounded tip to it, and it's not going to poke through anything or damage a stitch that's already there. So I like that. Then I actually used this exact thread hopper last week when I was starting my, I was counting from the center to the top of the pumpkin on my pumpkin party chart. And this was the one I picked out because it was orange. So you put your needle at your starting point, and then you take the other needle and you can count 10. And then you take the first one off and you count 10. And then you take the second one off and you count 10. And you can count, you know, as far down or as far over as you need to go to get to your next spot. And you can also use needles or pins, and you can mark them every 10. But I've done it. Some of the softer fabric does not hold the needles well, and they just fall out. So I like having something like this. So that's called a thread hopper. Then she has some sets, and I just pulled the pumpkin because it was seasonal. So this is kind of like a hat pin, or it can go in your pin cushion. If it had a base on it, which some of her Regal pins have the base, you know, you could wear it. But it looks really great in your pin cushion. And you can also count with this one if you just want to count with one pin and get it to where you need to go, and then, you know, stick it in and then have your other threaded needle come up in that spot. But I like the idea of being able to wear it as well and get double duty out of your accessories. And then this would be like a scissor fob or a zipper pull. And it's got that really cute little pumpkin charm on it. All right, this is one of the Regal pins that I was talking about, and it actually comes with a stopper. But you can also take the stopper off and put this in a pin cushion too. There's all different kinds, all different beads. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is one of her Halloween pin keeps. And there's a spider and a spider web and a black bead. So they're really cute. And this is a $13 value. And I'm going to choose a name by the random number generator. So just use the word spider in your comment, and I'll put you in the drawing for that. And I was going to show you scissor fobs, but they're the hardest things to show. So I think I'd rather lay them out and take a picture of those. So those are the accessories. The winner from last week, who's getting this, is Jill Rand. And I had asked you to talk about pumpkins, your favorite thing about pumpkins. And she said, I love pumpkins and the fact that you can grow your own. I have fond childhood memories and pictures of my siblings and I sitting amongst the pumpkin vines with our chosen pumpkins. Now my grandchildren grew their own this year. So I thought that was really great, a family tradition passed down. Of course, a lot of people, you know, mentioned food items. And again, I was going to make a list of all the fun comments, and there's too many and they're all like so different. So go back and read those. I love anything pumpkin. My favorite thing right now is the pumpkin muffin from Dunkin's. I mean, it is better than homemade. It's not even that expensive. I saw a post the other day about Starbucks, and I always like to read people's rants on why they don't like some place or why they wouldn't spend that money or whatever. And they were ranting about the cost of the pumpkin slice at Starbucks, because you could make a couple loaves of your own. Well, of course you could make it cheaper yourself. I'm not buying a pumpkin pepita slice at Starbucks because I don't know how to make it myself. I'm buying it because that's what I feel like eating, and that's what and I purposely made a trip to Starbucks for breakfast. So anyway, but I just think that's funny. But the pumpkin muffin at Dunkin's is so good. It's just delicious. And then I get a side of I think it's called maple snack and bacon, and then I get whatever, you know, my iced or frozen coffee drink is, and it just makes the best breakfast on a Sunday like today, or on another day when I'm out running errands before I come to work. So anyway, that's that. So Jill, email me your physical address and I'll get this out to you, and then we'll also chat about what fabric you want. Did you want the 18 or the 36 peanut, or did you want another count in the vintage country mocha? So I think I crossed off everything on my really, really messy list because I kept changing it. I kept changing things in the order of things. But anyway, I think that's it. So I'll be back next week, and I hope to show a little Halloween decor in my own house, which I have not done in so many years. I can't even tell you. It could be 10 years. I don't know. I end up skipping Halloween because fall is pretty much the busiest season here with the tour, and I often had an anniversary sale in September, and I would get really busy, and I would go right from my strawberries and bees right to Thanksgiving. So this year I just told myself, so all my Halloween stuff is already in the car so that I can go home and play with it this week, and I'll be able to show some of that, and then I'll have some automatics, and who knows what else I'll think of to tell you about next time. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great week. Bye-bye. So what I have left in order is 14 Aida, and then 16 Aida. Did I put those back on the right? No, I didn't. Okay, okay, never mind. Pay no attention to the disorganized woman behind the camera.